So what are some of the key takeaways? Um, like I said, I'm just wrapping up. So basically, dark data, once again, it's like there's a ton of data out there. We want to be able to use them by both humans and also machines, and ideally combination. And we do believe NLP is the key to that. And of course, knowledge graph is the way sort of like that is the way we think, it's going to actually unlock all of that, right? And like I said, NLP is the lens, knowledge graph is the actual telescope. And the one thing that we did notice when doing this, and we believe, is that domain-specific graphs are better than just sort of building a massive universal graph of everything. I know, like, we hear in the news a lot of these like sort of Uber models, like GPT-3 and whatnot. They just throw the whole kitchen sink at it. But in our experience, at least, if you're trying to solve a specific problem, try to be focused and decide what corpus and what data sets you actually want to include, because it is going to have a big impact in terms of the downstream use cases that you can then do. Speaking of which, there's, what Alex had mentioned, there's, and this is why we're so excited about knowledge graphs, is because there's so much downstream applications to it, whether it be predictive analytics, or generative modeling, specifically in the drug discovery domain. There's things like, adverse event prediction. Well, first of all, target identification, adverse event prediction, generative modeling to come up with new compounds, or drug repurposing. Obviously, like remdesivir is another example where there's actually people are, doing this right now, where like they are taking this kind of a knowledge graph that's built, and then they're looking at existing drugs that are related to a specific disease or a specific target, a protein, right? And saying, look, hey, for COVID-19, what are the other sort of related drugs? And so you can imagine using techniques like link prediction, where we can say, actually, these things are not directly related, but they should be based on the context in which they actually reside. And so that kind of stuff is where it gets really, really exciting. And so we're going to have a whole talk, by the way, for those of you who are interested on those kinds of applications, the downstream applications that you can actually do once you've built a knowledge graph like this. And I don't think we have enough time to cover that, but that's a whole other talk that I think we'll probably announce soon. So if you're interested in sort of some of those applications and use cases, you should definitely, I've been told to say this, definitely subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more. We're going to have a lot more content that we're preparing that are on those use cases, and especially with NLP, and like if you're interested in biomedical AI in general, or AI in general, I think there's going to be a lot of content that we're going to start putting out.